everybody. My name is Dr. Scott Giacomucci. I'm the director and founder of the Phoenix Center for Experiential Trauma Therapy in Media, Pennsylvania. I'm board certified in clinical social work and psychodrama, and I'm an experiential therapy trainer and educator. I'm really excited that you found this video, and I hope that you find it helpful in your work. This is part of an ongoing video series highlighting my recently published book, Social Work, Sociometry, and Psychodrama, Experiential Approaches for Group Therapists, Community Leaders, and Social Workers. In this video series, we'll be going through the book chapter by chapter to articulate some of the content of the book, to warm you up to the book perhaps, or to help you further understand, process, and digest the content and the processes that are outlined in this book. If you haven't already gotten a copy of the book, you can download it for free online at Springer Nature's website, the publisher, or on Amazon through their ebook platform. If you do find the book helpful, I would be incredibly grateful if you considered leaving an Amazon review, an honest Amazon review about the book, so that we can help reach future audiences. Now, catharsis is something that psychodrama is well known for, though many people don't realize all the nuances and complexities of Moreno's contributions to theories of catharsis. So, Brewer and Freud were the first to introduce the concept of catharsis into psychiatry in their famous publication on studies in hysteria, all the way back 1895. And so their focus in describing catharsis was about the release of emotions related to past memories. They were working with hysteria, basically complex trauma. Now, Moreno was deeply influenced by Aristotle and also influenced by Freud, although many of Moreno's ideas emerged in competition with Freud in psychoanalysis and in opposition to Freud in psychoanalysis. Moreno's theory of catharsis highlights that catharsis is not just a function of explicit and narrative memory, but also of implicit and somatic body memories. That when the entire self is in action in psychodrama, that we can tap into deeper levels of experiencing catharsis. Moreno wrote decades and decades before Bessel van der Kolk that the body remembers what the mind forgets. And Bessel, who's maybe the foremost leading expert when it comes to trauma and traumatic stress, his most famous book, New York Times bestseller, is called The Body Keeps the Score. And it really echoes a lot of Jacob Moreno's original ideas. So Moreno, when it comes to catharsis, he was deeply influenced by Aristotle, the Greek philosopher. And Aristotle wrote a lot about Greek theater and about audience catharsis when attending the theater. And so Moreno, wanting to create change on a larger scale, he ran with this idea, and it was one of the reasons why he turned to the theater as an avenue for social change. He was hoping to create catharsis for large groups of people at once through the theater of spontaneity. In doing so, he started to notice that his actors were experiencing their own catharsis based on the roles that they played and based on similarities between the roles they were playing on stage in the theater and the roles in their actual personal life. And so he started to experiment with assigning his actors roles on stage that related to roles they were in their real life, and especially roles that they needed to work on or work things out in their real life. And so he described this as actor catharsis, how when we're role-playing, we can experience deeper levels of catharsis. Now, he also explored how spontaneity was related to catharsis, which is an interesting thing. So spontaneity, again, adequate response to new situations, new response to old reoccurring situations. So Moreno noted and researched how catharsis was strongest in novel situations, novel experiences. The first time we experience something, the first time we watch a specific movie, the first time we do a specific action, the first time our catharsis is the strongest, is the most. And that every time after that, when we do the same thing or experience the same thing or watch the same movie, our catharsis diminishes slightly. So there's a connection between novelty and catharsis. Moreno also noticed a connection between catharsis and relational dynamics, social dynamics. That when human beings are in groups and in the midst of a group experience, a communal experience, a relational experience, that the catharsis tends to be stronger than catharsis experienced one-on-one, individually, when someone's isolated by themselves. He noticed that in terms of theater and psychodrama, that when the roles portrayed on the screen or on the stage, the more similar those roles were to one's actual roles in their life, the stronger the catharsis they experienced. So in 1940, he wrote, "The greater a spectator's social and psychodramatic roles correspond to the symbolic roles portrayed on the stage, the greater is the catharsis produced by the drama." So Moreno writes about catharsis and all of his contributions to catharsis, which also include action catharsis. In a book on hypnodrama, 1950, he writes that the greater catharsis achieved through action is undeniable. The patient is able to express kinesthetically many feelings for which they have no words. So again, we see the connection to the body, to action. Now, perhaps the most important distinction and contribution to catharsis within psychodrama is how Moreno separates catharsis of abreaction from catharsis of integration. Two different things. That what we normally think of as catharsis is an abreactive catharsis. This is when there's a releasing, a loosening, a letting go of, an externalizing of feelings or emotions. Now, Moreno describes catharsis of integration as somewhat the opposite, that it's a reorganization of, an internalization of something new, that it's a transformation of what was there previously. It's integration. And so they're a bit different in a number of different ways, in that abreactive catharsis tends to be much more emotional, whereas integrative catharsis tends to be much more cognitive, but it also has an emotional aspect. Abreactive catharsis is often much louder, whereas integrative catharsis is often much quieter. Abreactive catharsis is often involves externalizing, whereas integrative catharsis is internalizing something new. So there's some clear differences between the two. Peter Kellerman does a great job of summarizing Moreno's contributions to catharsis in the following quote: "To include not only relief of emotions, but also integration and ordering. Not only intense reliving of the past, but also intense living in the here and now. Not only a passive verbal reflection, but also an active nonverbal enactment. not only a private ritual, but also a communal shared rite of healing. Not only an intrapsychic tension reduction, but also an interpersonal conflict resolution. Not only a medical purification, but also a religious and aesthetic experience. So this is in description of Moreno's view on catharsis and the different types of catharsis. So while psychodrama has a reputation for being able to provoke intense abreactive catharsis, Moreno and other psychodramatists really emphasize that the purpose of psychodrama is to get to the integrative catharses. That catharsis alone is not cure. That when clients cry, it doesn't mean that they're healing. Catharsis by itself might be traumatizing, re-traumatizing, or just reenacting. There may be no spontaneity involved in experiencing catharsis. Catharsis has to be followed up with an integrative catharsis, with integration, with transformation, with an internalization of something new. This is where lasting change is created. So the larger objective in psychodrama is to get to those integrative catharses after the abreactive catharsis. Now, Zorko Moreno highlights how, because psychodrama relies on surplus reality, and how in psychodrama we can experience things that would be impossible in real life, that in these moments that would be impossible otherwise, that the deepest and most impactful and transformative catharses are often experienced. That there can be a relationship between surplus reality and catharsis even. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, I'd really invite you to like this video and perhaps subscribe to the channel so you can receive updates about future videos. Again, it would really go a long way in helping the book reach future readers if you considered leaving an Amazon review for the book, an honest review. I would greatly appreciate that. And I'm really interested in connecting with you and hearing how this video was for you, how it was helpful, how it challenged you, what you think may have been missing, other connections between psychodrama and social work that I didn't articulate that you're noticing. Go ahead and put that in the comments section here, and we'll begin a discussion and dialogue together. And feel free to also suggest future videos for the channel. I'm really interested in what you would like to learn more about. As long as it's within the scope of my competence, I'm happy to consider creating a video on that for you. So again, I encourage you to check out some of the other videos on this page and stay connected.